If there's a particular section you want to jump to, either hover your mouse over the progress bar and find the section you want, or open the description, scroll down to the chapter list and click the link.
So, disadvantage of the cloud-based version. If you upload pictures to the cloud-based version from your camera, whether you're taking pictures with an iPhone or whether you're taking pictures with Canon, Fuji, Nikon, Olympus, or whatever, and you're uploading them straight to your cloud, if you put a full-size RAW picture onto the cloud, it takes up the space of a full-size RAW image, and your 23 gigabytes will not last you very long. Adobe would love you to do this because they would like to sell you 100 gigabytes and 250 gigabytes, and they would like to use all of your savings so they can go on a holiday instead of you. So the disadvantage is the file sizes. Can we do something about that? And I'm wondering whether this is anything to do with the question that Phil asked me. And I'm going to run past this, and then Phil can tell me whether that was the problem he had or wasn't. So on the desktop version, in the collections, all of these images down the side, where's my folder with my 2 images? Both of these images, that one's a JPEG, that one's a JPEG. Let's find something which is possibly a little bit bigger than a JPEG. Who's going to be Matthew's wedding? What are they in? PSDs. Right, here we go. So here's a Nikon file. So this is a full fat RAW file from Nikon. So if I'm to send this picture up to the cloud, I wonder if we can, tell you what, let's make a new folder in there. New folder, I'm going to call it Matthew's wedding. So Matthew's wedding, and we're going to put this picture of Auntie Meg's in there. We've got the little sync sign next to it, which tells me it's been synchronized. Over in the top corner, we've got a little blue circle, and it tells me I'm synchronizing one picture. So I'm sending what looks like a full-size Nikon RAW file up to the cloud. We'll see whether it's got there. Matthew's wedding. It's still on its way, but it'll be there any moment. Now, what I'm going to say is when we send a picture from the desktop up to the cloud, we're actually going to send it up there as a smart preview. A smart preview is Adobe's cleverness. It's all of the details about that file, and you can change all sorts of details about that file. Oh, there we go. So Matthew's picture has got up there, and I can change everything I need on here. I can, what can I do? Effects. I can give it a bit of a vignette. I could, if I wanted to, change it to black and white. I can do all sorts of things. Here we go. Change it to black and white. So I can change all those details, but I'm only changing the details on a smart preview. I'm not changing them on a full-size RAW image. So advantage of working on, oops, just lost you, Matthew. Ooh, ooh. Right, hasn't got as far as being black and white yet, but I'm sure it will when it wants to play nicely. So my file that's on my desktop is still the full-size RAW. The file I sent up to the cloud went up there as a smart preview. I can make modifications while I'm out in the road, out in the hotel, out in my motorhome, wherever I am, doing corrections. And those corrections will go up to the cloud. And when I turn my desktop on again, all those corrections will come back downwards. So the disadvantage of working on a cloud-based system is the size of the files that you've got. Is there anything I can do about that? And the answer is yes. I can be clever. All the pictures on my cloud, I can filter with a little filter button, and I can filter it by synchronized status. The picture's synchronized upwards from classic, synced and backed up. So those ones are going to be backed up on a cloud somewhere. If I can get to those, I can send them back down to my desktop. I can copy them onto my hard drive and then send them back up to the cloud. This is all very technical and clever, but I can send them back up to the cloud as smart previews, and all of a sudden, all my space has made better. Oh, the bit that I forgot to tell you is Adobe don't charge you for smart previews. So if you've got smart previews on your cloud, they're not coming off your gigabytes allowance. And I think the word there is woohoo.
So how would you add that the me to it? Is that within the file name or what?
You can change the file name anytime you like. So if you wanted to change the file name, I would find the edge of my screen and I go into the metadata and I could change the file name in there.
Right, yeah.
But let's assume, in fact, I'm going to go back to my Bosworth ones. So at the moment, their file name is lots of things down there. Now, this is a done deal. So whatever I do to these won't make me unhappy. If I select all of these and I go up to photo, I come down, or is it metadata?
What are you trying to do? Change the name.
Change the names. Let's do one other thing.
Library. I go into library and it's got
Oh, there it is.
photo.
Rename photos.
That's it.
So if I click into rename photos, I can do all sorts of things. And I can have some of these pre-set up. Members Training Day, that's nothing to do with Leicester Forest. That is all to do with the Society of Wedding and Portrait Photographers. Up here, engagement. So if I did an engagement picture, it would have the date, the customer name, which is custom text, engagement, the file number, and the ending to tell me it was a Nikon file or it was a Fuji file or whatever. And I can change all of those. And I can batch change them. I can start at number 1 and we'll leave them as engagement, but just do Bosworth. Right. So it's going to think that Bosworth is the client's name. So I say OK and renaming 24 pictures. Let's go to the first one, and it's Bosworth engagement, number whatever. And if I go all the way over there, that is also Bosworth engagement number 34. So I've just renamed all of them. What else could I do? I could go to a wedding with 2 cameras. And if I'm not paying attention before I go and set the clocks on the cameras to be both identical, it causes me problems later. So if I've got one camera with a wide angle and one camera with a telephoto, and I'm shooting during the ceremony, the pictures won't be in order when I put them all into one folder. They'll be higgledy-piggledy. I can equally go up to the metadata and I can edit the capture time, the original time, and my corrected time. What I tend to do at a wedding is before I start, I'll photograph the same something with both cameras at the same time, so I will have an index picture. And if I do anything wrong, I can set them both on the index picture to be identical times, and I can change a complete camera worth. It could be 900 pictures that I've got it wrong. I could change the complete capture time to be in synchronization.
And can you not just sort by the type of lens?
You can do, but it's not easy. If you are, where are we? Weddings. Who got married that way? I did. Right, let's not do that one. 351 pictures. If I photographed this one with a wide angle and this one with a telephoto, I can sort them by which lens, and I do that one up on the top here, but it won't then be in order for me to do the choosings. which means my client has a problem. The
Mhm.
other time you might want to change the times, when you go to Tony's Cyprus, which is an hour ahead of us, or 2 hours ahead of us, I think it is, and you don't change the clock on your camera, then all your pictures appear that you've taken them in the middle of the night instead of first thing in the morning. So you can go in and change your times. I can't do those sort of maneuvers within Photoshop easy. I can batch change all sorts of things in Photoshop, but not as simply as this.
You know all your folders you've got on there,
Yes,
are they mirrored on your computer, on the folders on your computer?
these are on my computer, but
Mm.
I use a separate hard drive.
If you weren't in Light, could you
Yes,
go into your folders and then open individual?
because all Lightroom has done is create a hierarchy. If I click that hard drive, right, this is one of my hard drives,
Mhm.
and on there, Paul Events, Paul Images, and 2023, 2025, and there is today, and these are the images that you've just been looking at, although you didn't see that one. So they're all in there. I haven't affected them at all. So if something happens to my computers, I can go in via the hard drives. The benefit of having your pictures on hard drives is if something happens to my computer, and I know that Andre has got Lightroom on his computer, I can take my hard drive to somebody else's computer, and as long as they've got Lightroom, I can open up my images on their computer.
Mhm.
What if something happens to your hard drive, Paul?
You hope that you've got them on a second hard drive.
Yeah, I lost all my photos on my old hard drive, so I put them on 2 hard drives now.
Yes. And that little tip I showed you, if you decided to use Lightroom, that
Yeah.
little tip I showed you at the very beginning, where you can import your pictures to, in this case, my LR Master hard drive, you can click the little button, which means that you can send the same pictures at the same moment to a second hard drive. I was once told by a good friend of mine, if you have a second hard drive, don't buy the same make. Because
Oh,
if
right.
there's anything inherently wrong with that particular manufacturer, it might be wrong on both hard drives. So
Yeah.
don't just buy a pair of the same because they look nice together. Buy 2 different versions, and that way, if something goes wrong with one, not as likely to go wrong with both.
Too late.
Too late, I know. What was I telling you about stable doors?
Yeah.
Yes.
Right. Okay. Let's sort out Phil's question before we move on further. Phil you wanted to move your pictures onto another hard drive.
Yes. Yes.
On here, I have got the hard drive I've just showed you, which was called LR Master Transcend. That's where all my pictures are. And if I just compress that one down and close up the collections tab, so all my pictures are on there. This little one there is my Macintosh hard drive. So I can open up that one. On my hard drive, I've got a folder called Pictures, and there's nothing in there. When you move your pictures around on your hard drive, forgetting Lightroom, you're likely to grab your pictures, select them, grab them, and drag them from one folder into another folder. But Lightroom doesn't know where you put them. So it is best, if you want to move pictures, to ask Lightroom to do it.
Okay.
So, do I have some pictures that I don't care if they get moved? Let's have a look and see what was happening in 1904. I have absolutely no idea why these pictures, except they're all videos. What about 1975? Ooh. No, I better not use that one. Sheffield. Gorgeous place. Town Hall? Town Hall. Right. So let's move Town Hall from the separate hard drive to somewhere else. So if I grab that one and bring it up there and
Yeah.
put it into Pictures folder, it's in Pictures folder. I can see it's in Pictures folder. And I can see it's no longer down in here. But
So I presume you can copy as well.
you can copy. Lightroom knows exactly that I moved it there. It's still got all the details on there, whatever details I might have done. What could I do with it? It's a brilliant picture, so I can make it 5 stars. So I've still got the 5 stars, and it says, if you want it, it's in pictures on my main hard drive. What happens if I put it onto a hard drive that isn't connected? Expansion. I know I haven't got that one connected at the moment, but expansion, there's 3 pictures in there from 2023. I get a little question mark and the word expansion is grayed out. And all it's telling me is I haven't connected that hard drive. It says, I know where your pictures are. They're on expansion, but you just haven't plugged it in.
Yeah, it's not plugged in. Yeah.
So plug it in and then we can start doing some stuff on it. Let's just grab my picture there and pull it back into Sheffield.
Okay.
When I moved it into the pictures, my number 39 went down to 38. And now brought it back in there. It's back into 39. And somewhere down the bottom here, we've got a fantastic picture. And look, it's even more fantastic because it's 5-star rated. So that is how I would move them and let Lightroom do it.
Yeah.
The only thing with moving, if I wanted to move those Bosworth pictures where there was 900 pictures in the folder, I might not want to move them all in one go. I might want to move 100 at a time or 50 at a time or something like that and make sure that they've got there before I do anything else. Does that make sense? Does that answer your question sufficiently?
Yes, I think it does, Paul. I think this was the sort of the file, the fact that you've got a file, but you've got various references to it with your. You've not just got the file name, have you? You got your collections.
Yes.
So it looked as if you got it in 2 places, but in actual fact, you'd only got it in 1 place.
Correct. And this is the problem that all of us have had in the past, where we brought the pictures in from our camera and we put them in a folder, and then we thought, oh, I better copy those because something might happen to them. So you put them in another folder and you've got 2 sets of images identical in 2 different folders. You then do some work on one of them, but you don't know which folder it was that you chose to do the work on. Doing it this way, you're always doing the work on the main one and referencing that image to be in different collections. Does that make enough sense?
Yes.
The problem with having 2 folders of images is one that you might not find the correct one to work with. The other one is with file sizes being so large nowadays, you can fill your hard drives with lots of images when you didn't need that many images. That's your questions.
I've got one, Paul.
Yeah.
If you've got 2 pictures, if you've got the one picture, but it's in 2 collections.
Yes.
And you modify one of those pictures in one of the collections.
Yes.
It's affecting all of the pictures.
Shall we find out? Let's just...
I keep creating virtual copies when I want to do that, but my virtual copies are running amok and I can't keep control of them.
Which one did we... It was that one, wasn't it? I changed that one. It changed on the web, and the coloured one that we changed on the cloud-based one earlier on. Where are you? That one there. So I changed it on there, and it didn't come down as quickly as I hoped, but it moved over to my iPad, and it's moved over to there. So the question is, where is that one? So I can click into there, and I can say, go to collection. Well, I'm in it. But if I've got a picture in 2 different collections or 3 different collections, they'd all be listed down in there. Go to the folder in the library. So if I go to the folder in the library, that's the folder, and it's changed it there as well. Let's test this one out. Let's go into develop and let's take away some tint, take away some vibrance, take away some saturation. So I've left +10 and +8 on there. if I press Option on my keyboard, if I have my mouse over the word presents, because that's the title for all of those, if I press Option, it goes on to reset. So I can reset all those numbers. So I no longer have that 8 and that 10. So let's just do that one again. Vibrance, I got 43. Go on to Option, and it just quickly resets my numbers. Does that work on everything else? Yes. So if I move my exposure, Option over the word exposure.
Does it work if you double click like it does in Camera Raw?
Might do. Let's find out. Yeah, does that as well. Right, so let's go back to the picture in the library. And the picture in the library has changed, and the picture in the collection has changed. So yes, the answer is if you alter it in one, it alters it in all of them. So Mike made a comment there and says virtual copies. What is a virtual copy? Well, if I put my mouse over that same sky and I right mouse click, I can go to something there called create a virtual copy. It's given me another one. How do I know it's a virtual copy? I don't necessarily know up there, but down there, the corner's bent in. So that just tells me it's a virtual copy. What can I do with the virtual copy? I could make it something completely different. What do we want to do? Soft light. I can't see that, so I'm going to make it bigger. Don't know whether I like soft light. Black and white. Oh, that's a bit moody. Yes, I like that one. So I can have the original and I can make a virtual copy. I haven't affected my original, but I've got two variations on it, and we'll see which one I like best. If I make another virtual copy, and on this one, we do something on one software, auto contrast. Did that make any difference to me? There we go. So I don't know which one of those I like. So if I click into my first one and then a second one, and I go up here, it says X and Y. If I click that, it gives me my selected picture and my candidate, my one that I might like. But I might like the other one. If I use the arrows on my keyboard, I can go over to the other one. So I can decide which picture I like best. Can I do anything else? I can select all three of them. And instead of going on to the X and Y, I can go into this little one that's next to it, and it gives me all of them. Because I selected everything in there, it's pulled them all up at the same time. So I can compare the pictures. When you've done some work on a picture and you're trying to decide which one to put into the competition that Andre's going to like, you can pull them up and have a look and go, well, I think he'd quite like that one, but I bet he'd like that moody sky, etc.